Okay, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have a very special product highlight for you from a brand that you've seen if you've been a fan of the channel or followed me on Instagram. Really a strap manufacturer that I feel definitely deserves some recognition and a lot more play considering what they offer for the price. And I think they have great designs, they have a great eye, and they're not asking very much actually for these straps. So I'm really happy to finally be able to kind of showcase these straps for you guys. This video has kind of been a long time coming. As you know, sometimes the schedule can get a little bit crazy, but the brand I want to highlight today is B&R Bands. So B&R Bands, it's pronounced B&R because originally they started out with a lot of Bell & Ross style straps, and they've really expanded their line into tons of really different options and different styles that are out there. And today we're just going to cover a couple and really highlight some of the things that I really like about these straps. So with that said, let's go ahead and get a wider shot here and take a closer look. Okay, so as you can see here, we are featuring the straps today on the wonderful Swiss-made Mito Barncelli Heritage 3, which I think is a really nice, versatile watch. You know, that dial definitely adds a lot of versatility there with that kind of eggshell finish. And I mean, infinitely thin there at just under 7 millimeters. And it's an automatic, super... I mean, this is just a really great value and probably one of my favorite watches in my collection. And I'm not a huge dress watch guy, so that definitely says a lot. But the strap, as you can see, is just really nicely finished. There's definitely, you know, no rough edges. Really professionally done, and I think that's one of the things that really differentiates the B&R Bands brand from a lot of other offerings that are out there. You know, some of the more high-end straps, they feel very much like something that's low production. And sometimes that's not a great thing. Yes, it's something that's going to be very handcrafted and feel and finish, but sometimes something just seem a little bit rough around the edges and a little unfinished, I would say, in a lot of cases. And I feel like the nice thing about B&R Bands is that these straps definitely feel finished. And of course, there's a style to them that's very vintage and definitely feels more expensive and luxurious than these straps actually go for. But I think they just really hit that nice happy median. You're not going to be paying a lot of money for, you know, their marketing budget. Your money's going to be going into really getting a quality product and quality customer service and that whole experience as well. So as you can see, just really nicely done. And these two other straps here that I'm going to be featuring, taking a quick look at, are not direct variants, but they are from the same family of strap. You'll actually notice that they're signed a bit differently there, and they are a bit thinner. These are actually more, I'd say, of a classic take on these, and really more of a dressy option because they do have that extra thinness, but definitely doesn't feel cheap at all. Very nice and solid construction there. Beautiful stitching, as you can see. Really well done. Nothing's running offline or anything like that. Great quality control. And then also you'll notice that these particular buckles are actually polished versus the brush that you saw previously. So these types of straps right now are really, I'd say, current as far as, you know, being in style. They definitely draw from very vintage past, and you can see a strap like this, you know, on a date just or really on so many different options, and straps like this are definitely going for, you know, in the 125 and up category, depending on which brand that you get them from. And really, you know, leather is leather, and the execution, I'd say, is definitely on par. So that's one of the nice things, is really you're going to be getting something that's a really nice value. And I mean, that's why the reason why I buy so many of these straps. One is they're affordable enough to where I can buy them in different colors, different variants, and it's not going to break the bank. And you know, I'm sure if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you've probably seen these types of straps featured multiple times. These are actually a little bit new, but I'll bring out some other kind of ones that you've seen on the channel, and then maybe something you might not have. So then also you can see here this nicer dark chocolate, very versatile here, this colorway, you know, same signature. So these two are actually direct variants of each other. So they're pretty much the same strap in different colorway. But I did want to show them here because they do offer just a really special look. And I mean, look at that finishing there. A really nice high quality finish, nice thin feel, and then these great tapers, which I feel like they definitely add to the actual wearability of the strap. When you have a nice strong taper like that, it definitely helps. One, you get a better wrist flex ability because you're going to have most of the bulk on top of your wrist where there's not going to be as much movement. Down at the bottom though, when you're going to be kind of crinking your wrist and making it smaller, that's where you're going to want that to be a smaller area. And that's why, you know, on bracelets and for straps, having that nice refined taper is definitely a big deal. So another strap, you know, that you've probably seen before featured on here is this really great vintage rally strap style. I mean, again, these ones are going for in the 125 and up ranges depending on who you buy them from, and you can get them from B&R Bands for well under that. I'll have to check the current pricing, but I'll whip out the the tablet here in a bit, and we can take a look at the site and just kind of navigate it and see, you know, just to kind of get an idea of the pricing and everything like that, because I know a lot of people, they like to know the pricing kind of up front, but this is more of kind of a brand highlight versus a particular, you know, specific strap. And then we have this one, which is actually a new strap to me. It's really nice. It has that really cool tactical feel to it. It's actually leather, but then the top part has this great waterproof coating on it, and it actually has a really cool brushed deployment clasp. So really adds, and of course you can see this is the first generation. Well, I guess maybe generation 1.5 because this is after they updated the logo to the abbreviated Christopher Ward. They used to have it actually all spelled out before that, but it's funny, this is almost like a classic watch now. Has its own little vintage to it from the earlier part of the 2000s, but really nice old C60 there. And this really, with the dial, as you can see, it has a really great texture to it. Now the texture also with the strap, I think it really ties in nicely. So let's go ahead and get that on the wrist, take a quick look, and I can actually show you how their deployant clasp works. So basically this is going to flip down, as you can see, and once that flips down, you could basically run it through. You figure out which hole is going to be the hole for you, and the nice thing is it saves your strap from a lot of wear and tear, because now you're not going to be flexing it in and out and, you know, through a small little spot there. It's just going to be really nice and preserved. So what we like to do is first, of course, we're going to clip the far end, and then we're going to clip this end, and as you can see, it's just a lot more, there was less bending of the strap, right? Which is going to be less wear and tear. And then of course you saw the way it plugged in there. It was a really small piece, and then it just went right into the hole, really in line with the way the hole is, so it's not going to be pulling at it or stretching it. So really nice, super comfortable. And then that nice taper again, you know, this is a 22mm lug and then tapers down to something like an 18. So really comfortable on the wrist, so really impressed with that. And then of course I just think it's a good look, and I'm a big fan of these types of straps, kind of that military style. Of course I was in the Marine Corps for close to 10 years before I got out because I hurt my back, but you know, I still do like some of the mil-spec stuff because it's just a little bit tougher and more rugged, and I can appreciate quality gear. And I really think that's what they delivered with this strap. So really cool one there. Of course, there's not too much to talk about. There's not too much to it, but I really do enjoy this option here. So let's actually get this one on the wrist here so you can see how nice it wears. Of course, this is a super thin watch, and then you add to that the strap, which there are thinner straps, I mean, even in this line here, but I think when you have a slightly thicker strap, it actually does really nicely accentuate how thin the watch is. I mean, it's not much thicker than the strap itself, but man, look at that. I think that's just a really nice tone there, really beautifully done, and it just suits you know, one, it suits this type of watch really well, which, you know, very minimalist design. You can throw this same type of strap on, you know, any type of Bauhaus inspired watch or mid-century style dress watch, and I think it's going to look great. This is of course a 39mm, which is a little bit larger than your traditional, and then it's going to seem larger as well because it's so thin. It's going to make it seem flatter and a little bit bigger, and of course there's distortion from the lens from being up close, but I assure you, on the wrist, this thing wears just perfectly, especially when you have the full human form being taken into consideration versus just a close-up wristy. But I gotta say, again, as you can see, that taper really makes a difference. So as far as comfortability goes, I mean, a lot of people, they'll wear their watch a little bit higher up on the wrist. I prefer to wear it a little bit lower on the wrist, actually at the joint there, just because I don't like to wear it super tight where it's gonna be to hold it above my wrist bone. And then of course I do write with my left hand, so I wear my watch on my right wrist, so I don't have to worry about the crown sticking into the back of my hand too much. It's more so worrying about the crown sticking into the back of my arm there. But it's really a non-issue. But as you can see, it just wears really nicely, and again, that taper, it's just a nice, really nice finish. And I gotta say, this is just a cool brand that I've really come to appreciate over the years, and I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you guys. And you know, I have had a lot of questions on Instagram, and as well as on the channel, in the comments, a lot of people will ask. So, you know, I thought, why not kind of share a little bit about some of these brands with you guys, and you know, just let you know what I'm working with. So as you can see, here's their site, B&R Bands. I'm loving these really cool perforated rally strap styles, and they have a lot of different ones. And the nice thing is that they take a lot of different styles, and they'll apply them to their different lines. So we have the vintage collection, which is more, you know, where you have the stitching here, but then they also have rally straps that have some of the more updated style stitching that's going to be in line, you know, different types of suedes. Here we can see the textured calf, which is what we were looking at in the beginning of the video. Let's see here if it can load. Oh, can't be reached. Come on. Okay, so it actually looks like my Wi-Fi's down. So that's a bummer. But let's go ahead and check, see if I can get this fixed and be right back. Okay, back in business here. Sorry about that. So let's check out the Elegant collection, and as you can see, really there a couple nice different tones. And I mean, look at these prices, about 70 bucks. I mean, that's pretty crazy that they're actually able to offer one kind of the more high-end design, but still with a very solid feel in the fit and finish. And you know, there's a lot of different styles, of course, as you can see, and a lot of different looks, tones, colors. And then the nice thing is too, they've brought over, again, similar design aesthetic, but they've applied it to, let's say, a rally style racing strap, and I mean, those just look fantastic. So that's really great. Let's see what else we have here. then this is really where I draw a lot of straps from. Here is in this classic vintage selection there. I've bought tons of these over time. The Horween straps. I mean, 80 bucks for Horween leather. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I actually featured this watch originally on the blue, the navy blue here, Horween, which is super thin, but also, of course, since it's the Horween leather, it's a horse leather, so it's actually very, very strong, and it doesn't fade. The nice thing is, as that color breaks up, as the leather flexes, you still get to keep the great color tone there. So really nice. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen these crocodile straps on my channel. I love these. I love the just the aesthetic there. It has a really nice texture to it. Of course, it's just printed on there, but it just has a really great look, and it adds just enough little play without being just super predictable crocodile, you know, alligator style strap. I think what they did there is they really executed it in a way that really makes it their own, and you know, of course, there's tons of different suede options, and there goes my racing strap there. So really nice one. Then, you know, if you want the bigger type perforations, you can see there. And I mean, these prices are pretty killer. Obviously, they're not a cheap strap, but what you're buying quality-wise is not a cheap strap. So you're actually paying, you know, I'd say decent money for a more than decent strap. So then they have some dive bands there as far as the rubber goes. So many options, a lot of different things, you know, a lot of different styles. So I just gotta, you know, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I think there's a lot of value that's there. And these guys kind of have a little cult following. I've seen them get a little bit more love recently, and yeah, I think it's well deserved. And I also, of course, wanted to make sure that my channel, we finally did a roundup and kind of talked about these straps and this brand, because I do think that they offer great value for money. And you know, I think that's kind of one of the main themes of my channel, is finding things that are great value for money. And for me as a collector, that's something that's really important to me. You know, I don't want to spend most of my budget on somebody's marketing fund. I want my budget to go to the quality of the product, and then of course the quality of the service when you're ordering something and purchasing, and kind of how people deal with problems, because you know, people can make mistakes. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect, and yeah, you can have an issue with any brand ordering anything, whether it's expensive or cheap, or something like this, which I consider very affordable, but not cheap in any way. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have been a fan of this particular brand, I'd love to hear some feedback. If you guys like the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.